Well, that was an eventful Sunday, wasn't it? What is up, Finn fans? If you could tell by the title, it's the part one of a two-part series where we're going to talk about the biggest surprises of the 2020 Miami Dolphins season. And then on Wednesday, it will be the biggest disappointments of the 2021 season. And I already can tell what some of the people are going to say about the 2021 season is, and I'll address that in the next video. And then this weekend, finally, the Tua Tagovailoa rookie film breakdown will be out this weekend. So set your calendars for it. I'm going to release it probably Friday. So set your calendars for it. January 29th. I'm going to break down the film of Tua's rookie year. And also, if the Dolphins do end up signing an offensive coordinator this week or at any point, you're going to get a video. I'll talk about that in comment of the day. We'll get to that in comment of the day. Before we jump into that, I have to shout out a new Patreon. Denimus Robs, a new Patreon. He is a DouglieDoWronger. He is now part of the Discord. If you guys want to join the Patreon, it is linked below. But let's jump into this video. Let's jump into the biggest surprises of the 2020 season. Now, I have these in no specific order, but I do have a few of my favorite surprises saved for you last. But my number one surprise on this list, well, not number, but you know what I'm saying. The first surprise of the 2020 season is Jason Sandman Sanders. He actually just got a new Madden card, a 96 overall. I'm going to have to pick that up. It's probably going to be super expensive, but I need to get that. Also, somebody else on this list got a new card I'll talk about. But Jason Sanders, right? Last year, 2019, he did all right? Played full season. Field goal percentage, 76.7. He made 23 field goals out of 30 attempts, right? His plus 55 for 3 for 5, his 40 to 49, 5 for 9, 30 to 39, 8 for 9, and then he made all of his from 20 to 29. But he had a 76.7 field goal percentage. Some people were like, hey, bring in competition. He struggled a little bit. Let's bring in competition. Jason Sanders was like, you shut your mouth and watch what I do in 2020. He goes from a 76.7 field goal percentage to a 92.3 field goal percentage this year and is an all-pro first-team kicker. He made 36 of 39, only missing 3. He missed 7 last year, only missed 3 this year, and I wish he didn't miss any, but the announcers have to run their mouths. He made 8 for 9, 50+. He missed one field goal of 50 or plus. 40 to 49, he missed 2. Other than that, completely perfect from the 0 to 39 yards, completely perfect. Jason Sanders, one of my biggest surprises of this year. He had a huge leap in production and just killed it, absolutely killed it. My next biggest surprise of 2020, this one, a lot of people are like, really? He really didn't do much. And I see where you're coming from, but Myles Gaskin, right? He started to come on a little bit last year, got injured, and it was a bad year because, we were completely rebuilding. Came in this year, had a very productive year this year, Myles Gaskin, 584 yards, 3 touchdowns. He averaged 4.1 yards a carry. Now, is he blowing it out of the water? Is he hands down a clear-cut starter? Is, all these things, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. No. But he did make a big jump from last year, and you could say, hey, Doug, I think everyone and anyone could have made a big jump from last year. I agree with that, too. But to me personally, I think Myles Gaskin was a big surprise for me this year. Bringing in Jordan Howard, bringing in Breida, I thought to myself, Myles Gaskin is the odd man out. And he showed Myles Gaskin, I'm going to say his name one more time, Myles Gaskin can do what he can do. So that's another surprise. Another surprise, and this guy made a big jump, unfortunately getting injured last year. That's Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel, 4th on the team in sacks, 5.5 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss, 10 QB hits, over 40 tackles on the year. Now, was he lighting up the NFL? Was the NFL noticing him? Good Morning Football. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. They were noticing him. Some other people were noticing him, but he had a big jump. He had that injury last year, had to sit out, and then came in this year and just nose to the grindstone and just really had a bounce back year this year. So Van Ginkel is one of my big yeah, one of my biggest surprises, especially with the 5.5 sacks. We need to get more help on that defensive line and let him be able to do his thing and watch him become like a TJ Watt style player. Not saying he is, but watch him become something in that realm of getting a ton of sacks off of that linebacker position. My next biggest surprise of 2020, we signed this guy, right? And I thought, all right, he showed some productivity with the Kansas City Chiefs. You kind of know who I'm already talking about. Can he do that here? 9 sacks, tied for 11th in the NFL. Talk about Emmanuel Ogbah. Now, he's a biggest surprise because he was up there. I think he was like top 5 in sack leaders. But then, unfortunately, for the last couple games, he just disappeared. And again, this is why we need more pass rushers on that defensive line, because then guys like him will consistently continue to get those sacks, consistently get the pressure. We need at least one more stud pass rusher. But Emmanuel Ogbah, he had 5 sacks last year. He had that injury, came in, had 9 sacks, was really disruptive, had a ton of QB hits, ton of QB pressure, really good. And, $7.5 million this year. Next year, they can cut him with no loss. Signed him 2 years, $15 million. 7.5 this year, guaranteed. Next year, 7.5, not guaranteed. To get 9 sacks out of my defensive end for only $77.5 million, I'm happy with that. So that's another big surprise. Now, my last 3 are... this, and just so you know, I didn't say this at the beginning, but this is just my opinion. This whole list, and the next video, which is the disappointment, is my opinion. But this guy surprised the heck out of me. When we drafted him, I was like, there was other names that I wanted, the other names that we could have got. We took him in the 3rd. He had an injury, so he didn't compete in the combine. And I'm like, all right, well, let's see what this kid can do. And that's Brandon Jones. He's another one of my biggest surprises of 2020. Like I said, we could have had Winfield. We could have had Dolpit. We could have had, so many different safeties. And we took Brandon Jones in the 3rd. And I'm like, why take him? There's other people on the board. But after watching him play, after seeing what Brian Flores has done with him, he has the most play time of all the secondary players taken in the draft. Brian Flores puts him in scenarios where he can be productive, puts him around the ball. He essentially he took the place of the guy who won't be named, because I'm not talking about him anymore. He took his place, and he's productive. That scoop and score that I think it was Shaq Lawson had, Brandon Jones was right down there helping him block. Very good, very productive, and I can see him having a very bright future with this Miami Dolphins team. Now, these last two biggest surprises are probably obvious, right? We'll talk about this player first, right? Had a very bad season last year. Huge bounce back this year. He only played 5 games last year in 2019. And that's Xavier Howard. Dog, why is he the biggest surprise? You see how much money he gets? He's the biggest surprise to me because of how big he bounced back. He had 7 interceptions a few years ago, and everyone thought his kid's going to do well, and then he kept getting banged up. Couldn't play a full season, kept getting banged up. Then all of a sudden, he's like, I'm good. I'm healthy. Played a full season. Played 16 games this year. Yes, he got taken out of one before a stupid ejection, which shouldn't have been an ejection. I don't think either player should have got ejected in that game. Real dumb. But he played a full season. 10 interceptions. He went from 1 interception last year, 5 games, to 10 interceptions this year. All pro first team corner. Last year he gave up 66.7 reception percentage. This year, 52.2. His passer rating, if you throw it at him, is ridiculous. Huge jump. Xavier Howard just continues to build and build and build. And a lot of people are talking about, well, he has an agent now. Is he going to want more money? Is he going to ask for more money? Are the Dolphins going to trade him? I don't know. I'm not Nostradamus, and I can predict these things. I think he'll ride out this contract. I think he'll play this year under the contract, and then he'll probably ask for money after this year. And if he plays as well as he did this year, if he gets another 10 interceptions, then there's a possibility we give him an extension, or we use that as him being a hot hand and trade him and see if Noah, gets up and up. You guys know I love Xavier Howard. I was banging the table for him in the beginning of the year. No one was talking about him. Everyone was crapping on him. I wasn't. So for a fact I'm not one for trading him. but I think he'll play for the Dolphins next year. I don't think he's going anywhere. So there's to answer that. And the last and final biggest surprise of 2020. This surprised the heck out of me, surprised the heck out of the analysts, surprised the heck out of the experts who make predictions, surprised the heck out of everybody. And the number one, this is to me the number one biggest surprise of the Miami Dolphins 2020 season. That is our 10-6 record. That is the biggest surprise of the 2020 season. Nobody, well, I'm not going to say nobody, but not a lot of people, I would say the majority of people did not expect the Dolphins to win 10 games. Could have been 11. Could have been 11. Not a lot of people expected that. I didn't. And I talked about this in the live stream, right? Now my expectations for this team has risen, right? So last year we had 5 wins. And I said to you guys when the season started, when we were looking at the schedule, I could see 8 win, 9-7, right? I want growth. So from 5 wins to 8 wins, a 3-game jump seems realistic. And the amount of talent we added, it should be realistic, right? That was my expectation. And then looking at the year now, we're at 10 wins. There needs to be that growth. There should be that growth. So what's the growth, Doug? Is it 11 wins, 12 wins? I don't know, but we're at 10 now. We're only going to get better. So there needs to be that growth. But 10-6, big surprise. Like I said, a lot of people, big surprise. But that is my list of the biggest surprises, in my opinion, of the 2020 season. Be sure to comment below if I missed any. If you think someone besides Sanders, Myles Gaskin, Ginkel, Ogbah, Brandon Jones, Xavier Howard, and our 10-6 record is a bigger surprise, comment it below. Biggest surprise. Like I said, Wednesday is going to be the biggest disappointment. So if you're like, hey, this guy's a surprise because he sucked, well, you'll have to wait for next video where I talk about the disappointment. For comment of the day, though, I'm going to talk about the update in the offensive coordinator search position, because right now the Bills have been eliminated from the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers have been eliminated for the playoffs. There are 2 names on both those teams that Ken Dorsey, obviously the Bills quarterbacks coach, I'm very interested in the Dolphins trying to bring in. There's some speculation, right? Like that he followed the Dolphins and one of the Dolphins reps on Twitter. Also, he now follows the Dolphins on Instagram. He posted a picture of him in his Miami Hurricanes uniform because he was their quarterback. So all that speculation about Ken Dorsey, right? I'd be happy. And you guys, if we do bring him in, I'll tell you even more why I'd be happy. But also the quarterback's coach for the Green Bay Packers. Look out for him. See if the Dolphins bring him in. But I do think that the Dolphins will probably bring in an offensive coordinator sometime this week now. I think one of the guys that they were coveting I think he was coaching. So we'll see how that all pans out. We did, bring in a new quarterbacks coach in Fryer who did work with Tua on the Elite 11. So they are bringing in coaches to help build on Tua. So this is going to be very interesting because Ken Dorsey and Brian Dable worked with Tua in Alabama. So we'll see how that all works out. But that is the video. Like I said, be sure to comment below. I'm really interested to see what your biggest surprises are. Be sure to comment it below. Wednesday is going to be the biggest upset or the biggest disappointments of 2020. And then this weekend, probably Friday or Saturday, the Tua Tagovailoa rookie film breakdown. It's going to be a long one. So grab yourself a snack, grab yourself something to drink, hang out, watch it. I break down a lot of film. It's going to be probably about a 30-minute video, 35-minute video. So hope you guys enjoy it. But other than that, I'll see you guys Wednesday. But like usual, stay classy. Fins up.